Big investors are increasingly concerned about this situation. According to reports from Bloomberg, Microsoft's security researchers noticed suspicious activities linked to a group they believe is tied to DeepSeek. This began in the fall of last year when these individuals allegedly began pulling large amounts of data from OpenAI's API, which is used by developers paying OpenAI to power their apps and services, making it a significant revenue stream. Once Microsoft detected these suspicious signals, they alerted OpenAI, and an investigation was launched. The big question remains, did DeepSeek actually steal valuable data from OpenAI's models? David Sachs, the White House's so-called AI and crypto expert, told Fox News that there's substantial evidence that DeepSeek effectively distilled OpenAI's knowledge into its own system. If you're unfamiliar with the term distillation in AI, it's a technique where one model learns from another's outputs, effectively compressing or copying its abilities. If this is indeed what happened, it's a serious intellectual property violation, especially with tensions high between the US and China over advanced tech. On top of that, earlier this January, DeepSeek's free AI assistant surpassed ChatGPT to become the top free app in the Apple App Store in the US, and it also reached #1 in several other countries. This success raised a lot of eyebrows. How did this Chinese startup, seemingly out of nowhere, manage to surpass these major American AI players in downloads? This story was big enough to trigger a sell-off in tech stocks on Monday, with investors scrambling to figure out if the market's assumptions about who dominates AI were about to be shattered. DeepSeek claims that it built a large language model, R1, with reasoning capabilities competitive with the best that OpenAI can offer, despite spending far less. According to the company, they only spent about $5.6 million to train their core foundation model, V3, using 2,000 NVIDIA H800 GPUs. In contrast, Sam Altman from OpenAI hinted that GPT-4 might have cost well over $100 million and used around 25,000 H100 GPUs. How did DeepSeek reach that level of performance with so much fewer resources? Not everyone is buying their story. Palmer Luckey, founder of Oculus VR, called DeepSeek's numbers bogus, even labeling them as Chinese propaganda. He suggested that it might be a scam to disrupt US tech investment or manipulate short positions in the stock market. Elon Musk, who is closely tied to President Donald Trump, expressed skepticism too, echoing concerns that DeepSeek may have access to hidden advanced hardware. Meanwhile, Alexander Wang from Scale AI believes that DeepSeek might have gotten its hands on far more advanced hardware, like 50,000 H100 GPUs, in secret. He didn't provide hard proof, but the rumor is strong enough to fuel ongoing speculation that DeepSeek's shoestring budget story may not be telling the full picture. At the end of the day, you have to wonder, are these companies genuinely worried about stolen tech, or are they just upset that a smaller player outperformed them without needing billions in funding? DeepSeek didn't ask investors for unlimited cash and didn't follow the same playbook as OpenAI or Google, yet it somehow managed to create an AI model that competes at the highest level. And when you look at who's making these accusations, most of them are companies whose own AI projects have been outshone. It's easy to see why they'd be quick to criticize, whether it's over IP theft or questioning how DeepSeek pulled it off so efficiently. Speaking of uncertainty, job security is more fragile than ever, making it crucial to stay ahead with skills that can future-proof your income. That's why we've teamed up with Growth School for this video to bring you something truly valuable to help you thrive in this rapidly evolving landscape. 2024 has been a whirlwind, with jobs popping up everywhere, but layoffs are just as common. It's a wild ride, and even if things feel secure now, you never know what's coming. That's why having multiple streams of income isn't just smart, it's essential. Here's where AI comes in. With the right tools and skills, you could seriously start earning an extra $110,000 a month. If you're wondering how to get started, Growth School has something cool for you. They're offering a 3-hour hands-on AI training where you'll learn to use over 25 powerful AI tools. Normally, it's paid, but the first 1,000 AI Revolution viewers can join for free by using the link in the description. Plus, you'll get $500 worth of bonus resources just for signing up. The training covers everything from job hunting tips and salary negotiation to mastering Excel and content creation. And it's not just for tech experts. Whether you're in finance, sales, marketing, HR, or still studying, this can work for you. Growth School has already helped millions level up, and this could be your turn to stay ahead in an AI-driven world. So, if this sounds like something you're interested in, hit the link below to grab your free spot. Don't miss joining Growth School's WhatsApp community either. It's a great place to connect with others diving into AI. But back to the AI showdown. While the controversy rages on, real-world benchmarks give us some insight into how DeepSeek actually stacks up against the competition. We have some direct comparisons, testing how well DeepSeek's R1 handles tasks side by side with ChatGPT's latest 0.1 model and 0.1 Pro, and the results show they're largely competitive. One test measured each model's ability to perform tasks like creative writing, math, logic, and more. DeepSeek's R1 outperformed ChatGPT on some tasks, like identifying the billionth prime number or writing certain creative paragraphs, while it lagged behind on others, like certain complex instructions or hidden code challenges. The takeaway is that R1 is in the same ballpark as OpenAI's best. Pretty wild, considering how new DeepSeek is to the global scene. As if that's not enough drama, we discovered that part of DeepSeek's success may be thanks to Huawei's hardware. Their R1 model was trained on NVIDIA H100 or H800 GPUs, but for inference, the stage when the model responds to user queries, it runs on Huawei's Ascend 920C AI chips. While these chips aren't as powerful as NVIDIA's top-tier models, you don't need as much raw computing power for inference. This means training can still rely on NVIDIA hardware, but once you've got the trained model, you can run it on cheaper or less regulated hardware. This detail has significant geopolitical implications, as the US is trying to limit China's access to advanced chips. But despite these restrictions, chips like the NVIDIA H800 and Huawei Ascend 920C are still getting the job done to some extent. After all these bombshells, the AI wars took another turn. Alibaba announced Qwen 2.5, an AI model the company claims can beat both GPT-4 and DeepSeek v3 on various benchmarks. They also introduced Qwen 2.5 VL, which they say can handle complex text, image analysis, and video analysis. Basically, a super versatile AI. After Alibaba made this announcement, their stock shot up nearly 3%. This is in stark contrast to how NVIDIA's stocks reacted when DeepSeek dropped its R1 model, causing a $600 billion loss in NVIDIA's market cap in a single day, the biggest single-day loss in US history. Talk about whiplash. Alibaba also claims that they're training even bigger models, like Qwen 2.5 Max, on an astounding 20 trillion tokens, combining supervised fine-tuning with something called reinforcement learning from human feedback. If that sounds eerily similar to how OpenAI trains its models, you're not alone. But at the same time, all these companies are using well-known techniques. Alibaba's advantage might be more about scale and the ecosystem they own, one of China's largest cloud businesses, which pulled in more than $4.2 billion in revenue in Q2 2025. They certainly have the muscle to keep pushing this tech. To top things off, ByteDance, owner of TikTok, saw the perfect opportunity to update its own flagship AI model just days after DeepSeek's R1 launched. They're also claiming better performance than existing US systems. So yeah, it's basically an AI arms race in China right now. Everyone's competing to prove they can develop powerful, or at least very cost-efficient AI, without the huge budgets of OpenAI or Google. Meanwhile, we can't forget the users. DeepSeek is at the top of the iOS App Store in 51 countries. People have tested the R1 chatbot and say it's pretty impressive, though it censors certain topics. ChatGPT is still massive, especially among enterprise customers, and it's not like everyone's going to jump ship overnight. Plus, ChatGPT has the advantage of Microsoft's massive infrastructure. There's also the bigger geopolitical angle. The US government has imposed restrictions on exporting advanced AI chips to China. But clearly, even restricted chips like the NVIDIA H800 or Huawei Ascend 910C still get the job done to some degree. That raises the question, is it really possible to limit China's progress in AI by restricting top-tier chips? Or can they make do with slightly inferior hardware but more efficient software? If the latter is true, that's definitely a headache for the US's stance on trade and tech control. From a purely technical standpoint, one of the coolest comparisons we saw was a test where DeepSeek R1 and ChatGPT tried to figure out the billionth prime number. ChatGPT gave a rough theoretical estimate, as that's how it's usually done, based on a prime number theorem and a margin of error. But DeepSeek R1 cited actual references, like PrimeGrid, providing the exact value, 22,081,763,089. That's a huge moment for people who assumed the American model would be more precise. On the flip side, R1 messed up some simpler tasks, like a puzzle where you have to encode letters in a hidden message using the second letter of each sentence, so it's not perfect. In any case, the latest bombshell comes from Alibaba, which claims that its brand new version of Qwen 2.5 or Qwen 2.5 max outperforms GPT-4, DeepSeek v3, and Llama 345B across the board. This statement came right after all the hype around DeepSeek's cheaper approach, and it's definitely making waves in the Chinese AI scene. Analysts think Alibaba timed the release for maximum attention. Lunar New Year in China ensured that people were home with family, likely browsing the internet or apps, so the announcement wouldn't be drowned out on a typical busy workday. So, where does all this leave us? Basically, the entire AI landscape is in flux. We've got the big, established players, Microsoft-backed OpenAI, Google, Meta, and challengers from China like DeepSeek, ByteDance, and Alibaba. The biggest question mark right now is whether DeepSeek actually stole intellectual property or used some sneaky method to replicate OpenAI's top-tier model. The investigation is still ongoing, and Microsoft and OpenAI haven't dropped any major updates yet. But clearly, Washington is watching closely, and David Sachs is openly suggesting that DeepSeek probably gleaned knowledge from GPT-4's outputs. If that's proven, or if a settlement is reached, we can expect big headlines. In the meantime, the AI arms race continues. It's no longer just about who can build the best model, it's about who can do it cheaply, who can roll it out the fastest, and who can handle the public's concerns around data security and censorship. The bottom line is this: the AI sector is absolutely buzzing with new players and controversies. DeepSeek's alleged data breach is a testament to how valuable these large language models are. If it took OpenAI an estimated $100 million or more to train GPT-4, and someone else can replicate it for under $6 million, that's a game changer, assuming it's legit. But Alibaba's recent claim, stating that it's beaten both OpenAI and DeepSeek, adds even more heat to this already fiery competition. The industry is bracing for more breakthroughs, skepticism, and intense rivalry. I'll be keeping an eye on the investigation into Microsoft and OpenAI versus DeepSeek, because whatever happens next could reshape how these companies approach security and large-scale licensing of their models. And don't be surprised if you hear more about Alibaba's Qwen models, especially since their stock is on the rise. We'll see if these claims hold up once the dust settles and thorough tests are done. That's it for today's breakdown. It's insane how quickly the AI wars are shifting. One minute, it seems like only an American giant can lead the pack, and the next, a Chinese startup or major player like Alibaba comes in with a totally new approach. Let me know in the comments, do you think DeepSeek really stole OpenAI's technology? Thanks for tuning in, and stay subscribed for more hot takes on all things AI.